Hey everyone. So today I want to talk about a theory that I've had for a while that I've been slowly starting to talk to more and more people about, and they have all encouraged me to actually make a video out of this and put it out. So I'm going to do that today. Now this has to do with our musical age. And if that sounds weird to you, well, it is kind of weird. But I want to break it down for you and talk about how I think this is a really, really important concept when it comes to putting everything in perspective as far as what you should be doing, why you should be doing it, and some of the things that frankly just don't work for people. A lot of times there's a really easy explanation for that. And to me, it has everything to do with your musical age. So let's dive in. I've got this document prepared, and we'll go through and talk about musical age. Okay, so if you had to give yourself an age or grade level when it comes to playing music, what would it be? I know a lot of you out there, you're coming to this later in life, deciding that you want to do this because you finally have time for it. Maybe you were a musician in school and you absolutely loved it, but then you went in a different direction career-wise and you had a family and you were working a lot, and now finally you've decided, I want to come back to it. Or maybe that's not your situation at all. Maybe you got introduced to this music later in life and you just fell in love with it and decided that you wanted to pursue playing it. But so many of the people that watch this channel and the people that I interact with, they're older. They've lived a lot of life already. So what I'm talking about is, what's your age or grade level when it comes to playing music? Are you in elementary school, junior high, high school? Are you in college, or are you in graduate school? You could also put this in terms of like actual age. Are you a musical newborn, toddler, kid, young adult, or adult? Now, depending on what answer you gave, things are going to look a lot different for you, right? If I gave a bunch of my elementary school students, like we're talking about kids like from age 6 through 10, right? If I gave them graduate level assignments, right? If I said, okay, 8-year-olds, today we're going to be working on advanced triad pairs over giant steps. Well, I would get fired, right? The parent of that student would be like, what did this guy give you? We're not taking lessons with him anymore. Or the kid would be like, I'm not coming back to see you. This is like crazy that you want me to do this, right? Even kids realize that. So my question to you is, if your musical age is not that of a college student or a master's student, why are you giving yourself graduate level assignments, right? Why have you decided that you need to be working on the most complicated, esoteric, hard to understand even for professionals material? It kind of doesn't make sense, right? So that's sort of maybe your first realization about musical age and how it relates to actually how you spend your time. But now I want to talk about a paradox and why I think this happens, why I see so many people that are of a young musical age working on really, really advanced stuff that they probably shouldn't be working on. This is the paradox. In most other aspects of your life, you're an intelligent, experienced, knowledgeable, and wise adult, right? So you know what's up. Like, you've lived a lot of life. You're good at so many different things, right? You've had a successful career. You've made a lot of money. You've raised children. You've done all these things. It's a little bit of a disconnect from where you might be with music, if you're really honest with yourself. And that's what we're getting to in this video, is like being honest with yourself. So I want you to ask yourself a question. Do I let what I just said poison the well of how I approach music? Because you might discover that, yeah, there's a lot there that honestly I just shouldn't be doing, right? But my adult brain convinces me I can do it, okay? Because if we're honest with ourselves and we meet ourselves where we're at with music, if we really think about that, our competent and wise adult self might feel stupid, slow, deficient, untalented, overwhelmed, demoralized. And those are all bad feelings, right? And we don't feel that in most aspects of our life, right? It's our brain playing tricks on us. It's all the other parts of life that we have together convincing us that we should be on the same level with music. Because why not? I'm good at so many things. I pick things up quickly. Yeah, I'm like a functioning adult, right? I know what's going on. But are you with music? And the other thing is that like these are never things that my young students feel when they concentrate on learning the level. Kids are really good at sort of taking what's in front of them and just working on it until they get to the next level, right? I don't get that much pushback when I talk to a kid about like, hey, you just got to do this for next week. Do you think you might be able to complete this sort of for your next lesson? Yeah, sure. Where actually kids get overwhelmed is when you start like talking about the big picture. They don't want to hear about that. What do I need to do for next week? What's gonna keep me having fun playing music, right? What's gonna keep me at some level? They know they want to get better. What's gonna keep me getting better, right? And they'll just work on that thing, okay? So they're not thinking about all the other levels. Why? Because they don't even know it exists. And if they do, kids don't beat themselves up for not being at a certain level, right? They just kind of take things as they come. Kids are really good at that. So my question for you, and I kind of already know the answer, why are you beating yourself up for not being at a certain level? And, you know, it's a kind of an obvious answer, right? When we're adults, we've reached a high level of proficiency in so many things. There aren't too many things that we encounter in our daily lives that make us feel like kids again, right? That make us feel like, I can't do this on my own. But if we're really, and here's the honesty part, if we're really, really honest with ourselves and we humble ourselves a little bit, we realize that music might be one of those things. And I think there's a little bit of a deeper level to this. And this gets in the way as well. We might be able to explain and talk about musical concepts. Like we logically understand them, where our brains are really good at that logic, right? We can show that understanding through our words. Yeah, I know music theory. I could explain to you how this theoretical concept works in music. I can do the math. I can explain it to you. But when it comes to weaving those things into our solos, effortlessly commanding them when we speak through our instruments instead of with our words, we realize that, I understand this, but I can't do anything with it. And that's the true test, right? Can we actually do something with it? That's what we're all going for. We want to be able to play great solos using this knowledge that we have, right? So we need to humble ourselves. We need to realize that we're no longer experienced, wise, and capable adults like we are in every other aspect of our lives, okay? We're really more like young kids, and we have a long way to go. And that's okay. That's the big thing. But the good news is kids are really awesome, right? They will keep at it until they figure it out if it's something they want to be doing. And if you're an adult, nobody's making you do this. So you do want to be doing it. You have to swallow your pride a little bit, right? So they figure it out. Kids figure it out step by step, discovery by discovery. Ever so slowly, they'll grow up, both as people and as musicians. It's just like the natural order of things. When you come to this later in life, I feel like you're, in some sense, stepping outside of the natural order of things. So what should we do? So if we're just starting out, we should really, really try to be honest with ourselves. And if we are at that elementary level with jazz and music, just look at ourselves like an elementary school student. So we need to ignore super advanced things that we've heard about. An elementary school kid wouldn't even know that they existed, right? Also, kids get really excited for themselves when they experience wins. Get excited for yourself. This is cool. You're learning. You're progressing down the path. Be inspired by the graduate level things that you hear people doing, but don't convince yourself that you need to work on them now, right? And that's a big thing, especially today with all this information flying at us, people trying to sell us things, like all this kind of stuff. We could just convince ourselves through our own minds and all this stuff that we already talked about, and like really persuasive ads or YouTube videos and stuff like that. Most of that stuff you don't need to be working on, okay? Now, as a closing thought, also remember that children are wiser than adults in many ways, right? And you can unpack that however you want to, but I think that children, in a lot of ways, live life a lot more like it should be lived than we do, right? So embrace that musical child, right? It won't steer you down the wrong path. It might slow you down, but actually slowing down might be the best thing for you. Children follow their true passions and they get lost in play. And remember that our goal is to play music, not suffer through it. So anytime that you feel like you're starting to suffer through this process, instead of enjoy it and find it fulfilling, maybe you should start thinking and getting in touch with your musical child a little bit more. So anyway, that's my theory on musical age. I'd love to hear what you think about it in the comments below, and let's unpack it together. All right, see ya.